Memory. Types of memory. There are two types of memory. First is primary memory and second is secondary memory. Okay. Actually, there are so many types of memory, and all the types of memory is categorized under two types of memory: primary memory and secondary memory. Now understand here why it is needed here, because some memory are temporary memory. Temporary memory is data is stored there, and whenever as and when the computer is switched off, all the data will be erased. So sometimes we need to store some data for further work or for permanent data permanently. Then another type of memory is needed, which is known as secondary memory. Now see, primary memory, it holds the data during processing. It is divided into many storage locations, and each of which store data and instructions. Each memory location is of the same size and has an address. The primary memory is also called internal memory or main memory. It is volatile in nature. Volatile means temporary in nature. It is temporary in nature, and when the power is switched off, the data stored in this memory is erased. Okay, understood? So that's why it holds only the data during the processing, during calculation, during computation work. It is just use the memory just like a rough work. Okay, just like rough work. Okay. Now this memory is also divided into many storage locations, each of which store data and instruction, and each memory location is of same size, same sign, and has an address. Two things associated with each memory: size and address. Okay. It is also called internal memory or main memory. Okay. Similarly, it is used different names during different times. Main memory, it may be called internal memory, it may be called primary memory. So many types of memory, but understood that it is a volatile memory, it is temporary memory and holds information for some time. And whenever computer is switched off, all the data will be erased from this primary memory. Now see, secondary memory. On the other part, secondary memory. As we know that primary memory is temporary in nature and its data get erased when it is switched off. Okay. What is primary memory? Is volatile. Okay, and get erased when switched off. Then that is why we need some other type of memory which stores information permanently. That is why secondary memory is needed, okay, to store data, okay, for permanently, for later use, so that we can use later. Whenever we need, we can recall the data and we can use. The secondary memory is also called external memory or auxiliary memory. It may be called sometimes external memory or external. Some of the examples of secondary memory is hard disk, okay, compact disk, CD, pen drives. These are the secondary memory examples. And what are the examples of primary memory? RAM, ROM. These are the examples of primary memory. Now, before going in detail about the computer's memory, first we will know the measurement system of our computer. We occasionally we heard that this computer is having, or this mobile is having 48 GB memory, 64 GB memory, 32 GB memory. What is the meaning of that GB? Gigabyte. We know that gigabyte. That how much memory is gigabyte? Okay, see here. The memory of a computer can be thought of cells. Each of these cells is further broken down into smaller parts known as bits. Means binary digits 0 or 1. So first of all, the smallest component of a memory is bit. Smallest component of a memory is bit. That is binary digit 0 or 1. And A cell contains more than one bit, maybe more than one bit. Okay. Now the number of bits together are used to store data or instructions by their combination. Suppose the letter A, we want to store letter A. Then how much memory is needed? Total 8 bits. Total 8 bits is needed to store data. How many bits? 8 bits. Any 8, 0 or 1 is needed to store, and this 8 bit is known as 1 byte. How much it is known as? 1 byte. Okay. This much memory is needed to store single letter A. Now you can understand that a whole book or whole data we created requires how much memory. So the memory is discussed like this. See here. Okay. See, 1 bit. Okay, known as binary digit. And when we combine 8 bits, it becomes 1 byte. And 1 byte is needed to store each and every character. A, B, C, D, we want to store. Then each and every letter is needed 8 bits, 1 byte of memory to store. So if we want to store 1000 characters, then we need 1 kilobyte memory. It is equals to 2 to the power 10, that is 1024 byte equals to 1 kilobyte. And when we combine 1024 kilobyte, it becomes 1 megabyte. And when we combine 1024 megabyte, it becomes 1 gigabyte. Okay, now understood. 1 gigabyte equals to how many byte? If we break into byte, then it will be multiplied by 1 GB will be multiplied by 1024, then again multiplied by 1024, then it will become byte. Okay. Now again if we combine 1024 gigabyte, it becomes 1 terabyte, and when we combine 124 terabyte, it becomes 1 petabyte. Now 1024 petabyte, it becomes 1 exabyte, and 1024 exabyte becomes 1 zettabyte, and again 1024 zettabyte becomes 1 yottabyte. You can understand 1 yottabyte means how much memory is there. This memory in our computer generally 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte is needed. Okay, is available, and within one computer we can store libraries of books information in one computer. It is possible. Now come to random access memory. This is primary memory. In the random access memory RAM, the memory cells can be accessed for information transfer from any desired random location. Okay, random location. Why it is known as random access memory? Because we can access data from any location, okay, of the RAM memory in random location. Randomly we can access, means to access any information from any part of the RAM requires same time, needed same time. Okay, we don't have to go sequentially one by one to reach. Suppose some information is stored on 10,000 bytes, 10,000 address byte, then we need not to go through 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Okay, just directly go to 10,000 numbers address byte and get that data at once. Okay, that's why it is known as random access memory, and it is the fastest memory in the computer. Okay, that is, the process of locating a work in memory is the same and requires an equal amount of memory, equal amount of time. Thus the name random access. RAM memory is a volatile memory now, but there is a demerit here in RAM memory. Why? What is this demerit? It is temporary memory, it is volatile memory, and when the power goes off, all the data will be get erased. RAM memory is temporary memory. So this RAM memory is needed for rough work, and while computer is on while it is working, RAM memory is known as the active memory, and all the works we are doing here, it is stores in the RAM memory. Okay. Now types of RAM memory. Now there are two types of RAM memory: dynamic RAM and static RAM, or we can say DRAM or SRAM. Some different things is there. Dynamic RAM is made up of transistors and capacitors. The amount of time to take into produce data required from memory from the start of access until the availability of data is known as memory access time. Okay, so the time taken to read a data from dynamic RAM or from memory is known as memory access time. Now see, RAM chips have access time ranging from 20 to 70 nanoseconds. DRAM chips have 20 to 70 nanoseconds is needed to access any data from anywhere in the DRAM memory. Okay. However, static RAMs are made up of flip-flops, binary cells, and offer faster access time. Its access time is almost 10 nanoseconds, which is much faster than dynamic RAMs. Okay, then DRAMs. These RAMs are thus needed in specialized applications. Some special computers. This static RAM is installed on some specialized computers. These are not available in our computers. That's why static RAM is costly also. It costs much higher than dynamic RAMs. Generally in our computers, dynamic RAM is installed and it is less costlier than static RAM. Okay. So you can see that some companies made computers and their computers cost lot. Why it is? So that is due to this RAM, static RAM may be installed there, so that the cost of the computer is higher there. Okay. Now read-only memory. As the name suggests, ROM is a type of memory that can perform read operation only. Read-only. Okay. This is also a primary memory, read-only memory, and it is known as ROM. And it, as the name suggests, it is read-only memory. Okay, data is written, once written on this ROM, can be read only. We cannot modify the data available on the ROM memory. The contents of the ROM are written by the manufacturer only, along with the computer. We cannot change its contents or write something else on it. It is not possible. And also it is non-volatile memory, means it is permanent memory. Whatever the data is written on this ROM memory will be available all the time, even if we switch off the computer. Okay, the data is permanently stored on this ROM memory, which means the contents stored in it are not lost even when the power is of the computer. They hold certain essential instructions such as interrupt service. What it contains? It contains some essential instructions. Say for example, interrupt service routines, a monitor program, controlling the machine, instruction that are needed to start the computer. Okay. Okay, the monitor program, CMOS program, known as CMOS program, is BIOS. BIOS is also available on read-only memories. BIOS, basic input output services program. Okay, during starting of the computer knows nothing that if any keyboard is attached with the computer, if any mouse is attached with the computer or not. All those things is instructed by ROM memory only. ROM, there is a BIOS software installed on ROM memory which tells computer about each and every part. Okay, and also checks that which part is working or not working. Now come to types of ROM. There are so many types of ROM memory available in here. First of all, What is there? Programmable read-only memory. Next is erasable programmable read-only memory, PROM, EEPROM. Next is electronically erasable programmable read-only memory, EEPROM. Then flash EEPROM, then mask ROM. So many types of ROM memories there, and some details are given here. See, first, programmable read-only memory. It is user programmable memory in which information is burned using a special equipment called ROM burner. Okay. Now, programmable read-only memory is user programmable memory in which information is burned. Burned means once it is written, then we cannot change data in the ROM, and it is written using ROM burner. Okay. Now next, EEPROM, one can program the memory chip using ultraviolet radiation. There is ultraviolet radiation and erase it many times as needed. This type of memory can be erased using ultraviolet radiation. But PROM memory cannot be erased once it is written. Ultraviolet, where we can find ultraviolet radiation? In sunlight. We can find ultraviolet radiation. So if we put this type of ROM memory in sunlight, then all data will be gone. So it is advised, earlier computers were advised that it must be kept in where sunlight never comes. Earlier computers. Now these computers become more capable of doing things. Now in EEPROM, the EEPROM is erased electrically, which is faster. Now next type of memory, EEPROM, is faster because it can be erased electronically. We just by giving some instruction, we can erase data. Okay. Also, EEPROM selective bytes can be erased, like EEPROM, which erases fully. What happens? In EEPROM, all data will be erased at once. All data will be erased. But in case of EEPROM, we can erase selective bytes of data one by one. It is like EEPROM, but it is very fast comparatively. The erasure of the entire contents takes less than a second. Now flash EEPROM is very much more faster than EEPROM because it can erase data, but however it can erase full data at one time, not selectively. Mask ROM refers to a kind of ROM in which the contents are programmed by the IC manufacturer. It is not user programmable ROM. Means it is not user programmable ROM. If this ROM is installed, it is already written by the manufacturer. That is the storage unit. Computers need to store and retrieve data for processing. Storage unit, actually it is the secondary memory unit. Okay, and where data can be stored permanently. Now see, computers need to store and retrieve data for processing. Since primary memory has a limited storage capacity and is not permanent, okay, primary memory has a limited storage capacity and not permanent. Secondary storage devices are used to store. Secondary storage devices are used to store large amount of data. Store large amount of data and permanently. Okay, that's why secondary memory is more useful than RAM memory. There are various types of secondary memory devices available these days, that is hard disk, compact disk, CD, DVDs, flash memories such as pen drives. Okay, now Bluray Disc, it is available. These are all storage unit or the secondary memory or the permanent memory. Okay. Now first of all we will learn hard disk memory. These high capacity data storage memories store information on one or more circular platters or disks which are continually spinning. Okay, hard disk, first of all you know that it is large memory available here in hard disk, and it is permanent memory. We can store all the data we store in our computer goes in hard disk. Now see what is the inner working of the hard disk. There is one or more circular platters. Platters means plates are there, circular plates are there on which data is stored, and these platters spins continually. These rotating discs are coated with magnetic material, okay, coated with magnetic material and stacked with space between them. Okay, more than one platters are stacked one by one above another. Okay, information is recorded on the surface of rotating disc by magnetic heads as teeny magnetic spots. Okay, what happens here? Information is stored on the magnetic disc here. Okay, hard disk is like this. Now see compact disc, CD. We all have a look on the CD, how it looks. We all know about CD, that is compact disc. The compact disc or CDs are optical media. Optical media, why it is known as optical media? Because it is read or written using some light memory, okay, beam of light. Using beam of light. The CDs are relatively cheap and have a storage capacity of up to 700 MB. How much the capacity of a CD is? 700 MB. There are three main types of CDs. First is CD-ROM, then CDR and CDRW. All these are some different patterns. All are CDs but some different writing technology. So compact disc CD-ROM is read-only memory, means data once it is written we cannot modify the contents of the CD-ROM. And this compact disc recordable is, what is this? It is a blank CD. Blank CD is known as CDR, and once we record, we store some data on CDR, it becomes CD-ROM. Okay, now CDRW is another type of compact disc. It is rewritable, means we can write data on RW, and then we can erase the data, and we can again write another type of data on CDRW. Okay, it is not like CD-ROM or CDR. Okay, CDR or CD-ROM, we can, once it is written, we cannot modify the data, but however in CDRW we can erase the data and again we can write the data, okay, many times. Now DVDs, it is an optical storage device that looks the same as a compact disc. It is just like same as compact disc. Okay, it is also known as optical storage device because it is used to read or write data on it using beam of light. Okay, but it can hold up to 15 times as much information and transfer about 20 times faster than CD-ROM. Okay, more faster is there, more fast is more than CD-ROM. Okay, a DVD is also called a super density disk, SD is also known as, can hold up to 17 GB of data. 17 GB of data. You can see here compact discs can store up to 700 MB, but here in DVDs we can store up to 17 GB of data. It also comes in three varieties. It is CD-ROM, DVD-ROM, DVD-R and DVD-RW. Same difference is there. DVD-ROM is a DVD which is already written some data on it and we cannot modify the data. And CDR is a blank data, blank disk, blank DVD disk, where we can record something, and once it is recorded it again becomes CD-ROM, means non-modifiable ROM. And CDRW, we can read data, write data, we can remove data, we can erase data, we can again write the data. Okay, it is many times we can do read and write. Now come to flash memory. It is small ultra portable storage device with a solid state memory, solid state storage devices. Nowadays these devices are very much in demand, that it is more faster than any other type of memory. Solid state memory, you have an SSD, in short it is said SSD, or we can say flash memory. It has no moving parts unlike magnetic storage devices, nor does it make use of lasers. Lights is not needed. unlike optical drives. Instead, it works in a similar way to RAM. Okay, RAM means electronically data is read or write. The key differences is that data is retained in flash memory even when the power is switched off, and it is similar way to RAM, but data is stored permanently here. In case of RAM, data is stored temporarily, but in flash memory or SSD memory, data is stored permanently. They are now fairly inexpensive and comes in various capacities. Inexpensive means it becomes cheap. Earlier it was very much costly, but nowadays it becomes inexpensive and we can install this memory in our computer. It is having no moving parts. It means it is more reliable than any other type of memory. More reliable, because if moving parts is there, at one time it becomes wear and tear becomes, and it becomes unusable. But this flash memory can be returned for longer times. Okay. Now Blu-ray disc, it is new optical disc storage media format. Its main uses are high definition video and data storage. Its main uses high definition video and data storage. The disc has the same dimension as the standard DVD or CD. Just look like CD, compact disc or DVD. It uses blue violet laser instead of red laser. Okay, now DVD and CD uses red laser beam, laser light to read or write data. But in case of DVD, in case of Blu-ray disc, blue violet laser beam is needed. That's why its name is Blu-ray. Blu-ray disc of today are capable of storing up to 128 GB of data. 128 GB of data. So you can see that in CD we can store up to 700 MB. Okay, MB. Now in DVD we can store up to 17 GB of data. But in case of Blu-ray disc, it is also known as BDs. Here we can store up to 128 GB of data. So much capacity is there in Blu-ray disc. Okay. Now storage devices completed. So many types of storage devices we have learned. First of all, we learned that storage devices, there are two types of primary memory and secondary memory. Primary memory is of temporary memory, and it comes various types, two types, RAM and ROM. And there are so many types of RAM, and there are so many types of ROM. And again we come to storage unit, that is secondary memory devices. Secondary memory devices are permanent storage devices, and so many types of secondary memory devices, that is hard disk, pen drive, flash disk, DVD, CD. So many things are there and different capacities are there. So memory unit is completed. Now we have come to system bus. At the first time we have seen the block diagram. Now see it. Block diagram, what is that? Yes, see, so many things are there. CPU, memory, storage unit, input output, and the system bus. This is the system bus. Okay, now we are going to learn this system bus. Okay. Yes, system bus. See here, the system bus or the bus is an electronic pathway composed of connecting cables, and that connects the major components of a computer system. So system bus, data and instructions are passed among the computer system components. Okay, system bus, actually what it does, it connects each and every part of the computer by using some electronic components or cables, connecting cables. Okay, that all the components is connected with the system bus using the system bus. Okay, through system bus, data and instructions are passed among the computer system components. This system bus is responsible for transferring data from one part of computer to another part of the computer. Okay. Now see, so many bus systems are there. The data carrying part of the bus system is known as data bus. The path, okay, or the cable which carries data from one part of the computer to the other part, that is known as data bus. Then next is control bus. It transfers control instructions, carrying its control instruction from one part of the system to the another part of the system is known as control bus. The memory address carrying part of the system bus is called address bus. It's called address bus. A separate type of bus called input-output bus connects the input, output and other external devices to the system. Okay. So many four different types of buses there: data bus, control bus, address bus and input-output bus. Bus system connects each and every part of the computer. Now some exercises there. Some part of this chapter unit 1 is completed, and this is exercise which you have to do exercises, and then thank you.